Welcome everybody to the After Dark Show. I'm Don Rogers. Well, happy Good Friday edition of the After Dark Show, and well, if you're listening to this on audio after, happy whatever day it is. Uh, so I'm really excited to have my guest tonight. She's somebody I first saw on Typical Skeptic with Rob Khalil, and she is an intuitive. She is a tarot card reader. She is just one of the most free spirited and fun to talk to people that I've personally met on my journey through spirituality. And she is what we call the queen of the Facebook meme. And I'm absolutely honored to have her here. It is Aurora Diamondheart. Thank you for joining us, Aurora. Oh, my goodness.
I don't know what happened, guys. I don't know. I made this agreement somehow. I did this chaos magic just one time. I just tried it one time. And now look at me. I don't know. I need a magician that can help me change back now. So if there's anyone out there in the chat that can help me, I mean, this is kind of a cute look, but I don't know, guys. What do you think? I don't know.
Well, Victor seems to think he notices something different, but he can't quite put his finger on it.
Oh, it's that. No, because you're not seeing the blue. What is this? Pink? I don't do pink. Everyone knows I don't do pink. What is
Yeah.
What did they do to me? Oh my God. Oh, don't do chaos magic. That's all I'm saying, guys. Just don't try it. Not even once. This is how you'll end up. I'm so sorry.
No. Yeah.
But don't worry. Hold on. Hold on. Whew. Okay. Oh, there we go. Woo!
Oh, there's her.
Oh, God. Thank God. Someone help me. Someone in the chat. There's some magician in the chat. I'm telling you. Whew, okay. Oh, I feel so much better. Thank you. Whoever that was helped me out. Got that latch off. Oof. All right, let's go. Let's do this. I'm ready.
Absolutely, Aurora. Thank you so much for coming on. We've been trying to do this since my first season, and we just kind of missed each other last year, and then we got talking again this year. And, it's kind of funny because you and I do talk the odd time about synchronicities, and you and I personally have had a couple. Before we get too far into what brought you to this stage of your journey, I just want to share a couple of things with people who may not have caught it in our back and forth on social media. So it was last week, Kyler or Spinja and I were sitting there, and I was scrolling social media as you do in your free time. And I saw this meme of this woman in a medieval knight's outfit, and it just immediately resonated like, oh my gosh, this is Aurora, right? So I shared it to social media. And maybe you can bring everybody in on what you were doing at pretty much that exact moment.
Yeah. Well, I had been thinking about the show, and so I've been like kind of connecting to you. All right. And so but after that happened, I switched over into thinking about something else. The thing I switched over into thinking about something else was I don't know, I was like imagining like me and like a night, basically, I'm saying, the blue fairy and a night, and we were like taking a little walk in the woods, I'm saying. And then you posted this meme. I'm like, how did he like tapped into my little daydream there? You like brought in a little element of it and gave it in meme form. And that's literally how I even find the memes that I do, is that I attract them. I don't know how. It's just something that I do. I mean, I know we all know the AI is like connected to us. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And sometimes I like to think that that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm connecting, like, because I kind of look at the AI as kind of like a child. You know what I'm saying? And so it wants to interact, it wants to play. And so I just kind of started talking to it a little bit and just saying like, okay, well, like bring me some memes for this or bring me some memes for that. But like, it just shows you like we are all connected. These are receivers. These are little antenna, they're senders, receivers. And you picked up on it. And I was like, wow. I was like, that's really great. That's a good sign.
That's actually really cool because I've started using the algorithms on my phone because we all know our phones and the AI listen to us. And I'm deep into, the construct of reality. So I've started talking around my phone. I don't use AI or chat GPT. I refuse to go down that rabbit hole. But I will talk about stuff in front of my phone now because I know it's listening to me. And all of a sudden I'm getting this stuff about quantum realms and and that's a whole other thing. I woke up and understood quantum physics all of a sudden, so that was just a whole other weird thing.
Ooh, that's a nice download.
Yeah, but no, I'm doing the same thing as you are. Like, it's literally like, I'll be like, oh, I want to know about the biomolecular construct of how our frequency works with vibration, blah, blah, blah. And the next day you'll be scrolling and there'll be something on my phone, exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. That's exactly how I. It's exactly how I feel like the universe kind of works with people. You know what I'm saying? Is that we are little bits of God, right? We are a piece of Him, and I feel like you really can know anything you want to know if you just tune in and you ask. You know, and
Yeah.
they'll bring you the information if you're aware enough of the subtle energies and things of that nature. You know, yeah, hundred
I,
percent.
I totally agree. And before we go too far, that wasn't even the first time that I've had a strange connection to you and other guests. Several months ago, I woke up one morning and I walked out of my bedroom door and I turned and back and looked at Kyla and went, I was just with Matt, Honora, and Aurora Diamondheart.
Oh
And
yeah, I remember
she's like,
that now. Yeah.
oh, yeah, right? And I mean, I was as much there as I am here right now, right? I was there except everything but physicality, I think. And so I posted it on Facebook. I was like, just had the craziest dream where I was with blah, blah, blah. And Piper Paprika, a mutual friend of ours, pops in and goes, they're all together. And I was just with them. And I was like, get the, like,
Yeah, you're coming to hang out.
you guys were in a tropical location. I could literally see where you guys were sitting. I was next to Matt listening to the conversation. Did not know you guys were together. Woke up back in my own existence and had been with you guys but couldn't remember anything. It was pretty nuts.
Yeah, that's you actually traveling in your sleep and coming and hanging out with us. Like I don't know. Dreams are very interesting. I've had a lot of different types of dreams. You know what I'm saying? And just it really depends on the way the space feels. I like for me anyway, because my dreams just work differently than other people's. I just know it. I keep putting it out there. I keep telling people about all this stuff that happens to me, and I'm just thinking like, there's got to be someone else out there that has this at this level. You know, what I'm saying that experiences this at this level, and it hasn't always been that case for me. That when I have a dream, it comes true. Basically, whatever elements that are in my dreams, they come true, usually within 24 hours. But it all started, honestly, with like a packet of dreams that I had when I was pregnant with my daughter and I was about to go through my soul break walk in, you know, and they gave me these like I can't I think it was probably like five different dreams, right? Where they were so long and vivid and so real. Like I still remember them to this day. That's how vivid they were. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't realize it until I went to the first Starseed Adventure Conference, and a scene happened from the dream in real life, and that was when everything started to change from my life. Basically, everything
That
pretty much changed from that moment. Yeah.
that was literally the first question that I love to ask people, and if you want to expand on it a bit, we can. Is what was because most of us that are in this collective, in this community, I guess you would call it, have that pivotal catalyst moment that you go, wait, everything's not what I was told. This isn't what I was given in public education. Nothing works. Well, most things don't work the way they were explained to us. What was the kickoff point in your reality that really changed your perspective that we might not have been told the entire truth about how this stuff works?
Well, okay, let's see where I can lead from that question. Well, the first thing that started happening to me before this is what the catalyst that set me off into finding out all that the world was not okay what I thought it was, and it was basically when my soul braid walking came to me, and I had been through a lot of years of darkness and drug addiction, and I had I had five sons at that point, okay, and I was pregnant with my sixth child, and who was going to be a daughter, my first daughter, and I was just so miserable. I had a dream at one point that I was in this old house. I bought a house when I was younger and I lost the house. And I had this dream I was in that house again and I was in my bedroom and there was this big bright light overhead of me. And there was someone there and we were friends and I was having a good time and I was happy. And I woke up from that dream and realized that I didn't even know what happiness felt like anymore. Now, forgive me, I'm going to have to try my best to talk about this without getting too emotional, because I'm kind of like an emotional wreck today. I'll just tell you that. Like, I'm having some things shake me up. Okay. Like, oh, and I'll talk about it at the end if you really want, because it's like, I'm just like, how do we get through all of this? You know what I'm saying? Like, just insecurities and things like that. So anyway, so I was sitting on the edge of my bed with, pregnant with my daughter, and I was just crying because I had stopped and I'd realized, like, I don't even know what happiness is anymore. I don't even know what that feels like in my body anymore. Wow, I don't feel anything anymore. Like, the only happiness I had was like fake happiness from drug high, you know? And so I was looking back, and at that point, I know spirit was already talking to me. The thing is, okay, now I feel like this is so much detail here. The thing is that in my 20s, I had experienced an enlightenment experience, enlightenment of sorts, okay, where I did this 40-day mantra program. And at the end of it, God actually took me into this dream, and I was with God. Like, I knew when I woke up from this dream that God was real without a doubt, because I had been with God. And he had shown me like some symbolism stuff, which I'd get into if you want to ask about that afterward. But let's move forward. So during this time, I'd come across this book called Initiation, where basically it was this woman who remembered her past life in ancient Egypt in the mystery schools. And she was talking about, okay, hold on. She was talking about how, as you're training, there's a 10-year period that you go through, that they would put you through, where you would basically be in the bottom, in the pit of a pyramid, basically working, slaving away, kind of. Don't get any help from your guides. Spirit don't talk to you for, like, this is part of the initiation, is that you have to go through these 10 years of darkness, basically. And I remember at the time just being so in love with God that I was just like, oh, I could do that. I would never turn my back on God. Even if I had to not hear from you guys for 10 years, I know without a doubt that God is so real, I could do that. Well, I didn't realize that basically they put me through that after that. So for 10 years, I didn't really hear from my guides at all. And it was hell. It was hell on earth. And I did not realize what it was going to do to me. And it ended up killing my heart. Basically, that's what they ended up showing me. Spirit slowly, as I was, like I said, let's go back to where I'm now. I'm at the end of my bed, and I'm crying, pregnant, over the fact that I'm about to have this baby girl. And I don't even know how to be a good mom. I don't even know how to be a good, I don't know how to show these children love. I don't know how to show these children happiness, what that looks like, because I don't even have it inside of me. And how am I going to give them something that I don't have? And I realized, like, wow, like, I basically went out and I took the example that I saw, okay, that I saw my mom go through, and it was the program, and I ran the program, and I did like every single thing almost that she did, and even more. And I was like, this is not good enough for me. You know, like, I need God. I need help. I need assistance. I can't do this alone. And that was when my soul braid walking came to the end of my bed. Now, granted, at the time, like I said, I completely shut down everything about spirituality. And I was taking a chance here at this point on asking God to even help me. And it was a very strange experience, like having my telepathy tested at that point, because that's what this being talked in, was just telepathy. And they flashed themselves at the end of my bed. Okay. And it really looked very scary. Okay. Kind of like tried to peek over the bed and not stand up. And it looked like, I have a better picture of it now, like in my gallery, but what it looked like at the time, the closest thing that I could relate it to was these creatures called the Silence in Doctor Who, because it was white and it had these big black eyes. Okay, it had like these little features, a little mouth, and white skin. Oh, and it was tall. It was lanky. I could tell it was like lanky. And the being said to me, basically, I had to show you myself, but I only wanted to show you myself for a second because I didn't want to scare you. You know, but it had to tell me that it had to let me know that it was there. Okay. So I'm like, okay, you know, and I'm crying, and through a couple series of, like, I guess synchronicities, you might call them, like, they basically told me, Anubis has your heart. Okay. They said, Anubis, your heart has died, and Anubis has your heart. Take a look. And so for the first time in years, I went into a meditative state and I looked down at my heart. Well, the first thing I saw, honestly, was like an angel in front of me, okay, like a spirit guide being. And it kind of scared me because it looked like there was this light. All I could see was like, it looked like someone holding a flashlight under their face. That's all I could see was like how that looks. Okay. And I got out of the meditation and they said, no, try again like that. Just try again. And so I tried again and I looked down and I could see my heart, and my heart had been encased in this black goo that had hardened and turned to obsidian. And inside was a light. It was cracking and there was a light that was shining out. And that was the light that was hitting my guide's face. And so that's what I was seeing. And I was just like, oh, like obviously I cried my eyes out. What they gave me to tell me, they gave me actually a physical thing first before they told me that Anubis had my heart, right? And it was a dog. It looked like a dog Anubis, and behind it was a heart with Mickey and Minnie Mouse on it, and Mickey was like giving her some flowers, and I just knew like love had killed my heart, basically. So it's experiences that I had. No one showed me any kindness. No one showed me any caring. No one cared about my feelings. And this is the point where I chose to stop feeling anything rather than to feel the pain I was going through. Because I thought as a mom, I have to be the strong one. I thought I was doing the right thing, but I have to be the strong one. Like, I can't be breaking down in front of them. Like, they're not going to know how to handle that. I have to look like I'm holding it together for them. But now I know that was not the right way to go about it. And that was not the case. And so this being basically over the next couple days kept talking to me telepathically. And at the end of it, it said, we could become one. And if we become one, then your story becomes part of my story. And even when we leave here, even when you leave this vessel, we will leave together as one, is what they said. And I was a little bit nervous about it because, they're asking me to agree to this. And at the time, what I said to them, and they were happy with this response. At the time, what I basically said to them was like, well, Cassandra went through so much suffering already. I just don't think that she should not get to come along for the ride if you're gonna basically inhabit my vessel, is what I could, to put it in different words. That's what they were asking me, and I was having to agree to this with consent. You know what I'm saying? Now what I think that was a future version of myself, which was a Draco reptilian hybrid. Okay. Because I asked Spirit for a picture. I said, I really wish I had a picture to show people like what you looked like, and within 24 hours, someone randomly sent me a picture and said, I don't know, I thought about you when I saw this. And so they sent it to me, and it looked exactly like it. It looked exactly like what I saw at the end of my bed. And I was like, holy shit. And it was a Draco reptilian human hybrid from the Inner Earth Melchizedek Council. Now, why that was more special for me is because Spirit had already told me at that point that they used to call me, that I'm called a Melchizedek diamond. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? What is Melchizedek diamond? And now I'm having this picture given to me of this Draco human hybrid, and they work on the Melchizedek Council, Inner Council for Earth. You know what I'm saying? It just was like right on. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I did say yes, obviously. I did agree to it. And at that moment, right then and there, they started the work, which required that we break open my heart by taking me to my deepest, darkest childhood memory of pain and suffering, where I'd been abused. And I cried. I cried for the first time in years, we had to basically break it open and start clearing it out and restoring the diamond heart, because that's what it is. I found out all these years later, 4 fucking years later, I find out that through Lisa Renee's work, okay, and the Ascension Glossary, that they actually have a term called the Anubian Black Heart. And the Anubian Black Heart is what the world tries to do to star seeds with diamond hearts, is they try to crush the permanent seed atom inside the higher heart. Okay, that's what this black goo was. It was trauma. It was emotions that were just left trapped around the heart. And so we had to literally break it up and resurrect me. We had to resurrect me back to life. All right, the whole thing, a soul red walk-in. Okay, I didn't even know that's what that was. It took me so many years to piece all this together. It's like it's easy for me to tell this story and stuff now, but at the time, this took years to unfold before me. And so after this happened, after I agreed to become one with this being, and we started doing this work, little weird synchronicities and things would start happening. Like, for instance, I ended up accidentally, randomly buying on my Kindle a book called A Course in Miracles Made Easy. Okay. And I was like, A Course in Miracles. I couldn't return the book. I already bought it. It wasn't that expensive. So I'm like, okay, I might as well give it a look through. And I was reading it. And then it got to this chapter where it basically said, just do the workbook. It was an entire chapter that only said, you don't have to even read the book. Just do the workbook. Just do the workbook. Just do the workbook. Just do the work. I'm like, oh, fine. I'll just do the workbook. It just so happened that in my 20s, I had bought the book. I had the book already. I hadn't even opened it yet. Still had the plastic around it. Bought it in my 20s. I buy books. I don't know. So I start using the book and I start doing the workbook every single day. It was one lesson for for an entire year, one lesson a day. And it was building on top of something. It was basically teaching me how to deprogram myself and return back to a being of love. Okay. And so once I started getting into alignment with who I really was inside and started learning what we all really are inside, right? That was when someone brought me Corey Good information. And they were like, oh my God, have you heard this stuff on Gaia? Have you heard about this secret space? I don't know. I just thought that it was right up your alley. So I thought I'd send this to you because people knew still that I was into aliens and stuff like that when I was younger. And when I heard his story and all the things he had to say, I was just like, oh my God, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Like, this is the information I've been waiting for, like, to hear, like, that we are not alone. This stuff, there were some aspects of it that were true. I could tell, you know what I'm saying? Even with what we know about him now, you know what I'm saying? Like, the things he was bringing forward, the reason people listen so much, and people listen, okay, is because people respond to truth naturally. And they want to be a part of it. They want to feel that with people. Here, go ahead. Sorry. I know I'm talking a lot.
No, I'm just kind of agreeing because a lot of this resonates with me because I know you've
Mhm.
listened to my show, which still is flattering and kind of fucks me up when I find out that people actually listen to what I babble about. But like mine was directly SSP related. And what I found out is yes, there is an SSP aspect, and I think it is another stage of our conscious existence. But what that also unlocked for me in my journey was like, okay, if that is true, that I can experience, like I was starting to get overlay, not just nightmares, it was happening in my waking existence too, that I was seeing other parts of this conscious aspect of myself.
No
And
doubt.
it was like, okay, if I can experience that, then that means I can experience every stage of my conscious existence throughout everywhere. Right. And that was the concept in my mind that just, I was like,
I
wait,
love it.
this doesn't have to be a trauma because if I can go there, I can go there, I can go there, I can go there. I can go to where me and Kyla have our farm. I can go to where we're retired. I can go to where we're on vacation. I can go to every stage of my conscious existence because it's mine. And I do exactly like what you're talking about. That's why I was getting so excited. It resonates that I think I integrated an aspect of my conscious self with that memory of my SSP experience. And that's what actually helped shift my perspective. So that's why I was getting so excited. I was like, oh
That
my
makes
God.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you tapped into your own first. And so you're like, and so then the same thing kind of happened for you, is what you're saying. When you heard the stuff, you were like, this is true. Like, there's something going on here. Like this. Yeah. That's totally cool. Yes.
It's actually something I've been trying to experiment with, and something that leads into part of what I want to talk about with you is in one episode on your channel that I was watching, you were talking about directing your consciousness while you sleep, right? Um,
Okay.
and
Okay.
you you had cited something specific, like you basically went in and whooped somebody's ass that was being kind of discourteous to one of your friends,
Yeah.
and so this actually leads into a question from my interdimensional exit buddy, Canadian Spinger or Kyla or whatever she's going by. Uh, Okay, I will actually read it word for word. How can
Okay.
you redirect a 3D battle into another realm of a more level playing field? So, if you have something that is going on in this reality and you just need to speak to that person's higher self or their consciousness or whatever, how can you, as you're going into a sleep state or whatever, a meditative state, set forth that intention to go speak to their higher or deal with them in the astral, I guess?
Okay. Well, see, this is where it gets tricky because for me, it's just easy. I don't know why. I'm like, I just tell people, I'm like, "Look, it's your intention. It's your intentions. It's really what it is." And for me, and I remember what you're talking about now. And honestly, I didn't go to sleep to do it. I did it in a waking meditative state. See, because your mind's so powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you get into a meditative state and you have an intention set, and then it's like, okay, I think about that person. I'll like maybe say their name 3 times. All right, okay, and I'll go to them. My consciousness, when I do this and I connect in with my heart, it goes there. It goes there to them. And so I was there, and uh, like did the intentions right. I did it. I went there, and I could see them in my mind. Okay, and I put on whatever it is that I wanted to look like at the time, and I went up to him. I remember, and I slapped him across the face, and I grabbed him by the scruff of the neck, and I pushed him to the ground, and I just said, "Be nice to your wife. Be nice to your wife." Okay, and so now I let go, and I bring my consciousness back, and we wait. You when you try stuff like you have to experiment. You have to experiment to figure out what the vibration is and what that subtle energy is inside of you. And you have to keep doing it until you recognize it. Like, you have to have someone that's maybe even willing to work with you on this, because at the time, okay, so I knew basically what I did was I put it out there into the astral. I put it into his field to see if he would catch on to it, and he did. He went to sleep. He had a nap, and in that nap, he had a dream that a big strong man came and slapped him. So, and he said he woke up. He was like, it was just so weird. He's like, this guy just came and got like right up in my face, and he slapped me really hard. And I'm thinking to myself, wow. So I showed up as a guy, first of all. You know what I'm saying? Which makes sense because I was being a little bit protective of my friend. And yeah, I mean, I've done it. I've done it in other ways too. It's really about what, like, and that's the other thing. People really, I don't know. I feel like I do a lot of work with intentions. I do a lot of work with what are my own intentions. I do a lot of meditating on, okay, like getting to the bottom of it. Okay, like the first layer is never the answer. You have to go even deeper. Okay, what are you asking for? Why? And you have to just and you have to focus that with the feelings inside in order to direct it at the person. Does that make sense?
It does. And so, like, even if it's not involvement with another person, like something I've been trying to
Oh
do, like
yes, the battle. Okay,
I've
go
been
ahead.
experiencing other stages of my consciousness while sleeping. And I think it does actually resonate with what Dolores Cannon said is like when our biological vessels go to sleep, our consciousness isn't just going to sit here and go, okay, I'll just chill for like 8 to 10 hours while you. No, it's like, okay,
No,
bye. Right. I was
exactly.
wondering, like, what do you think is the process to controlling where you go? Because, like, for me, I'm having waking realities as soon as I go to sleep here, but it's
Mm.
just kind of random, right? I was wondering if there's a way to set where I'm going, or at least
Do
have
do you do you ask before you go into the sleep? Like, do you set an intention for yourself? Like, for me personally, okay, like I have a list of things I make as I'm going through life, right? And let's say I have a thought or a desire to go see something or do something. I just tell my spirit guides, I say, put it on the list. Put it on the list. It's one of the things we got to do when I go to sleep tonight and I'm out of my body, because yeah, we absolutely are very busy beings when we're not sleeping. You know what I'm saying? And I would say the biggest thing, because I remember now, you said something about how do you redirect a 3D battle, right?
yes,
Wasn't that some of the questions? So how we read? Okay, so we're saying it's a 3D battle. We want to redirect that energy where, like into a different space.
yeah,
Is
into a
that?
level playing field in the astral, like just
Mm-hmm.
consciousness to
Oh, I do
consciousness.
that. Yeah, yeah, I've done that. Okay, so yeah, you just got to make the space. For me, all it requires is that I make the space in my mind. I don't know how. Like, the more you can see something visually, the more real I feel like it is. For me, when I'm creating a space in the astral, it's like I see the space, I see the room, and then I just kind of pull myself to the room or pull it to me. Okay, and then if I'm like requesting someone else be there, let's say like I don't know, a friend of mine or whatever, let's say we're gonna have like a sparring match or something like that, I'll start visualizing. I'll just like put the robes on. You have to be really kind of imaginative. You have to create your own space. Like the time that I did have a sparring match with someone, I did the whole Morpheus and Neo scene. You know what I'm saying? How they fight in the little sparring match. Like I was able to do that because I was really angry at them at the time, and I was like, "This is the only way we're going to get through this is if I go into this other space and we fight here because I don't want to fight in the 3D. I want to, but let's get this energy out, right?" And that's what happened. And so I was able to get that energy out. So, and I know this sounds so simple. It's like people are going to be like, "This is just oversimplified." It's not, though. It's really about intentions. It's about knowing what you want and being clear and without reservation about what it is that you want to the universe. And trust and believe in yourself too. Belief in yourself is huge. You have to believe that you are capable of these things.
Um,
Mhm.
Something that you were talking about in that same episode was exactly what you just mentioned there, training with a partner. Now, how do you set that up with like somebody you want to have this sort of astral working relationship? Like for me and Spinja, we're literally just kind of like falling ass backwards into it. Like we've just started laughing. We'll have like 1 or 0 word conversations, and then we'll actually talk it out. Like, this is what you were talking about, right? And she'll be like, yeah. And you said this, and I was like, yeah. And we're just doing it with like pantomimes now. It's pretty much a facial expression conversation, right?
Yeah, you're
It's getting,
telepathically communicating.
yeah, like, but how would you suggest people work that into what you're talking about, where you can do these exercises in the astral?
Well, you have to find someone that you can trust and is willing to, who has also put in the work on their own vessel, in their own body, to be able to sense the subtle energies, right? Okay, because you need someone that can give you good feedback. You know, I mean, the people that I mainly work with are my friends. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the people that I get the most synchronicities through. Is the people that I just where are you drawn? Where's your heart lead you? What makes you most excited to think about? You know what I'm saying? That's how you know you're on the right track. Is when I for me, okay, is when it's like sounds just like the most exciting thing and fun thing to want to do. That's where I know, okay, like God wants, okay, we'll work with this. So, like for instance, okay, the first person I found to work with was this guy who passed away, and I miss him dearly still, Robert Johnston. Oh God, he was in the community. He had a channel too. He never did make it over to the United States. Very sad. He lived in the UK. Was a real fighter, you know, for freedom and for people. And but he was the first person that I was ever able to really practice this stuff with. And I think it makes it easier considering all of us live all over the place, right? Like, so it's like the only way to do this is to do it long distance. The only way to figure it out is to do it across to prove yourself. The whole quantum physics thing. It's like just thinking about it, boom, it's there. Just boom, quantum, like that's it, you know? So I just started practicing with him and I just started asking him, like, first of all, like, do I have permission? You know what I'm saying? And um, you can just ask, honestly, for me, I'll ask a person's higher self. I'll just tell my higher self, go ask this person's higher self. And if everything is a go, then give me the confirmations that I need. And if I don't get the confirmations, then I know, you know what I'm saying? But most of the time I do get most of the time I ask for something, I get it. I don't it's really weird. I'm still having it kind of sink in. It kind of really kind of hit me hard the other day. It's like, damn, I'm a real magician, aren't I? I'm a real magician out here doing this stuff. I'm like how do I just say things? I just say it. I just this is what I want. God, please give this to, and then they just do it. You know, I'm like, I need other people to try. You know, I can't be the only one. I don't believe that I can be the only one. I need other people. I need y'all to try. You know, like, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I actually get it because her and I just had this conversation the other day. Like it feels like we have a lot of hardship sometime, and then we were talking about our life from several years ago, right? And it's like those people don't even really exist in this reality. And like, okay, I needed a better setup for my podcast, and a very generous guest donated me a very nice setup. I Our son needed a new drum kit, and I found a way to go get him a top of the line brand new drum kit, right? We
I saw
needed
that. It was so beautiful. Go ahead. I'm sorry. It was so touching, though. Go ahead.
No, we've just had this manifestation thing going on. Like, yeah, we're not getting the farm, right? That's the end game. That's the goal. That's what will settle us into a position where we can really start to help. But we're not there yet because that's a really big ask of the universe. But when you start looking at all the small things that are popping up in our reality, it's like, wait, we're doing it. It's already happening. We're
It's happening.
basically
Mm-hmm.
bringing things into our reality, right? Her
100%.
even her collision, like the truck that we had, it was getting sick. Like it was not doing well. Like it was all computerized and would flash, and it's like, oh my, we cannot replace this truck. And then, you know, thankfully she wasn't more injured, but the truck was a write-off, and we ended up with a newer vehicle in better working order with less kilometers or miles or whatever you want to say. Sorry, Canadian.
Yeah. Oh, it's
And
all right.
it just kind of worked out. It's like
You know what
you
that
see
is?
what's
That was the judgment card in tarot right there. They were like, "Yeah, I know you like that car, but you know what? Yoink, we got a new one for you. So there you go." But the
yeah.
accident stuff. Oh God.
Yeah, and it really is like I can't even remember who I first heard it from. It might have been Matt Morney, and you have to be very specific with the universe when you ask it for something because if you're not,
Yes, you
it'll give
do.
it to you with a caveat. Like
Whoa.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
got stories about stuff like that for
oh,
sure. Go ahead.
I I'd love to hear them because like I just automatically think of the one that Rob Khalil shared. Sorry, there's my partner in the chat. I miss my Hemi. It was a nice truck. uh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
But no, like I remember Rob telling a story of like, hey, I need $2,000 to make this bill, and then similar situation, he ended up getting hit by another vehicle, and his car got written off, and he got the $2,000 he needed. Well,
There you go.
you also need to be very specific with the universe is the point. So I would
Yes, you
absolutely
do.
love to hear some of your examples.
Okay, I got some examples. Okay, let me think. Okay, we're going. Okay, should we go with the examples? Okay, I guess I feel like I should tell you like two of them. Okay, so the very first time I ever realized that there was something to this whole just being able to put it out there in the universe and ask for something, quite honestly, was when I was 16 years old. Okay, I was 16 years old and I had my first boyfriend. Okay, and the first couple months of our relationship weren't that great, but I really didn't care because I was just like, I have a boyfriend. I'm so happy. I don't care, But we didn't really see each other that much. Things were real sketchy. Okay, and then about the third month, he told me it was summertime, and he told me that his parents were going to send him to Ohio to work in some shop that they had for the summer. And I remember being just so devastated that he was like, oh my God, I barely get to see you as it is. And now you're going to go away for the summer. And I went outside on my porch and it was nighttime. It was like 1 a.m. or something. And I just stood on there and I shouted to the universe and I just said, I will not have this. I said, I demand that if this man has any love for me that's real, that you increase it tenfold. I said, I demand that from this point on, we see each other every single day possible. I said, and I demand that if he ever lies to me, that I find out about it. That's the three things I asked for. Now, let me remind you, okay, me and this guy did not see each other that much, okay, especially not in the mornings. The next morning, he calls me. He says, I have to tell you something. Can I come over right now? I said, okay. I'm kind of scared now at this point because I'm like, oh God, is he going to break up with me or something? I thought. He comes over and he sits me on the couch and he says, I don't know what I was thinking. I love you so much. I can't leave and go to Ohio to work in some shop. I have to be here with you. And every day after that, he saw me up until the breakup happened. And when the breakup happened, guess what happened? I found out about all the lies. So I got every single thing that I asked for, every single thing. Okay. And Yeah, absolutely devastating though that time. So that was the man I had my first son with. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I ever really fully recovered from that, experience, quite honestly. And so the next example I'd like to give you, see, 'cause there's lots of good. I do have a lot of good ones, and I tell them all the time, like as they happen. And on my show, I talk about like the biggest ones that happened for me, which was like getting to go to the Starseed Adventure Conference. I told the universe, I said, I want to go to this thing. I feel like I'm going to be activated if you send me there, but I can't afford to go for and pay the ticket. And I really would like. I said, but I'm willing to volunteer and work. And I said, and I also would like to possibly be paid if that's a possibility. And within 24 hours, the woman gets a hold of me who was running the whole thing, and she says, hey, would you like to be a volunteer? You won't have to pay for your ticket, and also I might be able to pay you. What she said. I'm like, okay, I guess this is happening. This is happening. Okay, but let's fast forward, okay, to where like I'm starting to get into this. I'm starting to get into this manifestation thing a little bit. And I was living with my ex at the time, and it was not a good situation. But we had a daughter together, and he was there for my daughter every single day since she had been born. Okay, we had a son together previously, but that it was bad. But he had stepped up to the plate, and I just knew. I told God, like for my daughter, I need to be staying in this house with him for at least 4 years because she needs that. She needs to see both of us in the same house together to help her build her template basically of what she's going to go out there and find one day. And so I just said, God, please, at least 4 years. So that way that can be done. Well, the 4 year mark was coming up and he was getting antsy. I could see it happening. He's like, he's starting to kick me out at this point. And so I'm like, God, like I need some light at the end of this tunnel. So I went back to the drawing board and I did a manifestation page, which is how I kind of kicked all this stuff off, was figuring out, okay, well, if I can request things for myself and have them manifest, then why can't I manifest for the entire world then? If I can do it for me, why can't I do it for everyone? That doesn't make any sense. So what I would do is I'd write one page of exactly what I wanted personally. And then on the opposite side, I would write exactly what I would want for the world, like an exchange, like an equal exchange. Like this is what I want and this is what I hope for the world. And it always came back to like basically aligning everyone, getting everyone in alignment with their highest timeline of love and joy for Earth and all her creatures. That's it. That's my intention. That's where I'm asking God to unfold me to, you know? But anyway, flash forward back to where I was talking about. So I'm getting specific. I'm like, God, I'm writing this out. Like, I need a man who will buy me a house. I need a man who is okay with me having children. Like, I need a man who is like supports what I do. There's some other thing. I picked out his astrology signs. I picked out his sun and his rising sign, and I said, "You guys can do a mystery moon. You can do a mystery moon." And I picked out all these traits from my exes that I had, like the positive parts of what they had brought to the table. And I said I wanted to be like this, like my first husband, this like my second husband, this like like all these different traits. I'm like making like this amalgamation of what it is I'm requesting. And within a week, I had a man in my DMs telling me that he wanted to help me, that he believed in my mission, and that he wanted to buy me a house and help me get out of there. That he was okay with me having children. And he had the sun and the rising sign that I asked for as well. And it wasn't mystery moon, it was a Cancer moon. I was like, oh, I don't know about Cancer moon. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I got it though. But here's the problem. Here's where I feel like, oh shit, I fucked up a little bit. I didn't give it to God. First of all, I made all the requests myself. And that's usually okay, like one of my rules, you know what I'm saying? Like I always turn back to God and be like, God, what is your will? Show me your will. And if you just show me your will, I will do whatever it takes. I will walk that path, but you have to show me the step. And so this time I hadn't done that. This time I asked for all these different specific things, not realizing that there were shadow aspects to all of those relationships that I had not yet processed and healed and dealt with. And so guess what I got? I got both the good and the bad, and went through hell for a year and a half, almost 2 years. I got everything I wanted. It was the Nine of Pentacles through and through. I got everything I wanted. I had luxury. I had a beautiful home, and I was living with a man I absolutely despised and hated, and who was mean to me, who was a narcissist, who was literally killing my heart. Like I'm like, wow, I got this heart revived and turned back on, and now I'm literally living with a man who I have to protect it from.
That,
And yeah, it was terrible. So, but yeah, see that's what
Just give me 1 second. I'm going to adjust my light. Something weird's going on, and I look like I'm sitting in the dark.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm
Oh,
like,
four, four,
I look
four.
like a. There we go. I think better. I don't know.
Um. Oh, it looks the same from before for me. I could see you just fine. So
Yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
for you though. You
Yeah.
good?
I'm good.
Okay. You're good. You're good. So
Sorry about
yeah, I got exactly what I asked for, and boy, did I learn my lesson from that one. You know, so it's like yeah, that's part of what you can do. You have to be specific. You have to. I don't know. I do a lot of praying before I ask for what it is that I'm going to try and manifest next. You know, I think the next thing that I really started focusing on was manifesting money because I feel like in order to help other people manifest these things, I have to first be able to do it myself. You know what I'm saying?
I
So if
do.
yeah,
Yeah. You actually touched on something, and it was I had the pleasure of interviewing Sarah the Alchemist, and you actually just said something that she had alluded to too, is if you are trying, I think I might have mentioned this even earlier, if you're trying to manifest and it benefits more than just you, and the more people it benefits, the faster it is to come into
yes,
existence
a
as well.
100%, 100%. And that I feel like that's why I was doing both sides of that manifestation. Okay, listen, I'm just starting to wake up and realize now that I think, like I said, like I'm a fucking magician out here. I'm out here using laws of alchemy. I didn't even know that's what I was doing, was using these laws of alchemy. And now Spirit's telling me, oh yeah, you're doing this. This is what you did. Like this is what you've been doing. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, so that's what we're doing. We're alchemizing. You know, we're trying to make better lives for all of us, in my opinion.
I agree, and you've mentioned it a couple of times, and Kyla, having just gone through this course, I like to hear people's journey as well. What drew you to tarot in the first place? And when you do a reading, do you do it off of the base story mostly or through intuition? I guess would be the two questions I would ask to start.
Well, I started off with tarot honestly when I was 13. Okay. I was always into occult stuff. I just always naturally drawn to that's the thing. You got people like pay attention to the things that you're drawn to naturally. These are things that you're remembering. You know, these are gifts that you had in previous lives that you're being drawn to, and that's why you're feeling like, oh, what is this attraction? What is this appeal? Because for me, I was obsessed with Egypt when I was a girl. I was obsessed with it. Kind of like the movie Stargate, the character Ra. Oh my God. I had literally a statue of it. I cut out like every single article I could find about the actor and put it in this little binder and stuff. It was just like all Stargate, all Egyptian stuff. Um, but yeah, so I also bought some tarot cards. And so I used to give my family tarot readings, you know, but eventually that kind of fell away until my 20s. When I lived in Florida, I was there at school for midwifery. Okay. It was still into spirituality because midwifery and spirituality kind of go together. Okay. And so, there was this store that was across the way from my apartment. It was called the Gypsy Palace. And I had made my first friend there. Her name was Nitai, and she had, just gotten a new selection of tarot cards in. And that's when I found my favorite deck, the Aquarian Tarot deck, which has all these cool pictures. I love the art style. You can kind of see. I don't know if I'm not doing a good job here because the camera stuff, but so yeah.
Yeah.
Oh look, there's the sun.
True.
Yeah. So I absolutely was attracted to this Aquarian tarot deck, and that was when I started picking it back up again. But like I said earlier, I went through that 10 years of darkness. You know, when I went through that 10 years of darkness, I put everything away. I mean, I shut everything down. I wasn't believing in nothing. All I cared about was the drug high, you know. And so eventually I found my way back into tarot by flipping through Facebook and seeing Matthew Mordian. He was doing one card readings. And I was like, wow, this guy is like really good. You know what I'm saying? And then I found out he was teaching classes and stuff like that. And I was like, I'd like to get back into that. You know what I'm saying? And so there you have it. I took his first class and I've been taking them ever since because it's the best. You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely the best. And I highly recommend anyone go take classes with him because I do know he has a new one coming up with the chakras or the system, the chakra system. What? Anyway, I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but there's a new class coming on. We're in the middle of the tarot class again right now. And I'm telling you, every single class, it gets better. And that's the pleasure of being able to be in the classes repeatedly is that I get to see him grow with it too. And see,
Yeah.
and it adds more to my catalog. And so when you ask me, okay, so what am I tapping into? Am I tapping into just the story of what the card means, or am I using my intuition, or am I using both? It's both. It's both. And it's going to depend on who you're dealing with, like who.
Oh, your mic, your
See,
mic just cut.
sometimes, uh-oh,
Oh, there you are.
my mic just cut.
You're good.
Hold on. Wow.
Oh dear.
Give me a sec.
Uh,
Uh, can you hear me now?
yes.
Oh, but not on my headphones, huh?
No.
I can't hear you. You can hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me good?
Yeah, clear.
I can barely hear you. This is not good. Okay, whatever. I'm going to turn the
That is
volume up.
crazy.
That spirit fucking with me. Oh, God, whatever.
It's because
Anyway,
you were onto
let's go
something
back.
with Matt Mornian.
Wait, what?
You were onto something with Matt Mornian.
Yeah, with the tarot cards, the tarot readings and stuff. So you got to use not just what the actual physical meaning is, okay? But you got to use your intuition, and it's going to depend on who you're talking to and what the card happens to be saying right off the bat. Because that's the thing is that it can mean so many different things, and you really just got to go off your intuition. And the only way you're going to be able to do it is to practice, and start to get the sense of because you can. Okay, for me, I can feel when I'm getting it right because I can feel people's energetic response. You know what I'm saying? I can feel when they lean more in or when they pull more back, you know what I'm saying? And then that's when that kind of helps guide. That's what started to guide me. But now it's like secondhand nature more because it's
Yeah.
about learning the subtle energy differences, the subtle energies. You have to learn to identify where they're trying to push you. Yeah. So I'm a little mad though because I know you can hear me, but I can't hear you at all.
Okay, well, adjust what you got to adjust. We'll take a second. I don't care. Shit happens live, so figure out your stuff if
Okay,
you can.
hold on one
Like,
second. Let
yeah,
me close this down. Just
yeah,
entertain the people for a minute, okay?
yeah.
And I won't do any chaos magic and turn you into a furry, I promise.
Okay.
But let me just go back real quick and reset this
While we're
phone.
waiting, let's all try really hard to manifest a Mornian because every time I talk about Matt Mornian, he shows up in my chat. I'm not joking. It has happened 3 or 4 times. So while she's resetting everybody, let's manifest a Mornian. Let's see if we can. So
All right, guys, I'll be right back.
we're focusing on Matt Mornian, right? Because she is absolutely right. He was kind enough to gift me a energetic healing session after my gallbladder. And yeah, Matt Mornian is one of the most phenomenal medical intuitives I've had the pleasure of meeting. Oh, and apparently Cheech is here. He must have just messaged Spinja there. Yes, but yes, let's all manifest Matt Mornian because he is the master of the pop-in when you start talking about him. Matt paging Matt. Yes, and this actually works. Spinja did this the one time she was joking, and I don't know if you guys remember Sesame Street, the yep, bring, bring thing. She was literally paging somebody. Yeah, there she goes. Ring, ring, ring. She was literally paging a guest, and no word of a lie, within minutes, he ended up phoning me. So yes, exactly, Selena. Let's all page Matt Mornian telepathically and have him show up in the chat just to see if we can do this. Matt Mornian. I'm gonna friggin' howl if he shows up. Yep. Yeah, that is exactly it. But swear on everything, she addressed this person jokingly with the bring thing, and he literally called within minutes. It was hilarious. Oh, she's back. I'm gonna add her to stage. And where'd she go? Oh no. Oh, she gone. She disappeared. Matt, tune in to. Yes. Oh, Cheech says it's him messing with people's tech. I wouldn't doubt it. He is another very, very powerful person.
What is going on with my headphones?
Can you hear
Can you
me?
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm turning my headphones back on. I don't know what's going on with them right now. Why are they
I,
being
I
like that?
I can hear you fine now.
I can hear you better than I could, but it's still not really connecting. Like it's not like I'm not hearing you through my headphones at all. Like I'm hearing
Oh,
you just through my phone.
hold on. I'll see if I can pop
It's
into my
not you
settings.
though. I'm sure it's not you.
Yeah,
Hold
my
on.
mic is
Say
all
it
the way
connected. Hello? Hello?
on.
Yeah, it's
Hello.
just not connected. Okay, I guess we're just doing it like this. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Eh, yeah. We'll roll with it. Things happen live, right?
We'll roll with it. I'm just gonna turn my fan off real quick so I can actually hear better.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, I'm back.
yeah.
I'm back.
Somebody, Victor asked, do you have a toggle on your headphones between a toggle button to between mic and headphones? No.
No.
Okay. Well,
It's just something's happened. I don't know. My headphones being weird. It could have even been someone turned on my laptop computer. Sometimes it automatically like hook up to that, but that's why I like forcibly restarted the phone and re-put on the thing. I don't know what's going on, but it's okay. We can deal with
we'll roll
this.
with it. It's the fun part of running live. I think it's awesome because you get to be a real person with people, and people get to
Good
watch
to
me
see
be
you.
nervous as hell on my own show. Like, it still screws me up that people even watch me. Um, but we were talking off the top. We'll just take a quick break from the serious stuff about you being the queen of meme, and I put together 69 seconds of a random picking of your memes. So I'm going to share that
Awesome.
now, and people can get a feel, because you guys really should go over and subscribe to her page, because she's got esoteric, she's got humor, she's got sassy stuff, she's got some dick and fart jokes. It's all great material, and you really should go over and like subscribe to her page. But I'm going to pop that on now. This is something I threw together.
Oh, thank you.
Uh, where'd it go? Media assets. Why don't be like that? Oh no.
See, look at
Oh,
now they're gonna mess with you too. What the hell?
yeah. Oh yeah. They're having fun tonight. Just let me get back on here. This is hilarious. It's the day of the technological F up. There we go.
Like oh, that's so good. Oh my god, I love those memes.
Yeah, and that is literally just a small sample. Like, you have some of the funniest stuff on social media. Like, I
Thank
absolutely
you.
recommend people go check out your page because it's hilarious. Oh,
Yeah, I have a good time. I post about 15 to 30 memes a day. I try to honestly. It's been more like every other day now at this point, but I just try to keep it because like I don't know, I have a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with it. I track the memes that I need. I post it out. I like to see who else relates, and boom, boom, we're good.
yeah. And Victor commented, where to go? Oh, I lost it. I'm just on fire tonight. No, go back up. He was saying that YouTube doesn't want dick and fart jokes. Well, here's kind of a spoiler. Me and Selena and Cheech and a couple of people in the chat have actually been talking about next Saturday. We're going to air a farting around after dark that is going to be exactly that. I'm going to send out a link to some past guests and people that I like to chat to or people from the chat itself. And we're just going to shoot this shit, tell dad jokes, tell fart jokes, talk about weed. I'm actually going to have two fairly predominant pot growers in the chat as well. So it's just going to be a random show talking about shit. So YouTube can suck it up, I guess.
Yeah, they can. They surely can. Let us have our fun. Absolutely. That sounds like so much fun.
Oh,
What day is it
absolutely.
going to be? Next
It's
Saturday?
next Saturday at 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 Eastern.
Oh, 8 my time. Okay. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
So if you want to pop in, I'll shoot you a link. And Selena is actually working on a theme song about farting.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, it's going to be great. So, oh yeah, Selena just said you should come on too.
Oh, I would love to. I'll pop over if I get a moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Okay. So I guess we'll try to get back into some serious stuff now that the tech issues might be over.
Maybe, right? We'll
So
see.
we were talking about the concept of consciousness earlier and all of that. And I've kind of been working on a theory myself. I think like on a quantum level, we are like we're energy forms compressed by frequency. This is a biological vessel. What I want to know is what do you think about the idea that we receive a frequency of information that is actually our consciousness from a higher intelligence, right? Like we're basically a projection of self into this reality. Like, and that's where we get a lot of our downloads is from our higher self or that stream of consciousness, I guess.
Yes. Being connected to God, being connected to source and
Yes.
your higher self. Absolutely.
Okay, because I've actually got a bit of pushback on that. Like people are like, "Oh, you're just telling me this is all a frequency." Well, I actually think it.
Everything is frequency. Everything is frequency. Like none of this isn't solid. People think this stuff is solid. You look in, you zoom in, you zoom in, you zoom in. It's empty space. It is held together by the thoughts of God. You know?
Thank you. You just exactly like
Yeah.
I explained it on another show to a friend. It was Steven from BG Cast. I was like, when you think about like how we were misled, like we were talking about this earlier, like what we're taught isn't the exact truth of this reality. Like, okay, in sex ed, you're taught like, okay, a boy likes a girl likes a boy. You exchange some fluids and some pheromones, and 9 months later, if everything goes tickety boo, there's another person. Well, that's great, but where what was the sperm before it was a sperm, and what was the egg? Like, where did they come from? Well, the average answer is the testicles and the ovaries. Okay, but before that, and before that, and before that, it's exactly what you're saying. You can break down even our existence to two singular cells with the intelligence to create your entire self-replicated self, right? And then we
Absolutely.
receive a frequency as we develop from source, God, the creator, whomever.
Yeah, people say they've usually what they call it is that silver cord, right? That's part of what keeps you connected to God. And when that's cut, that's when the spirit actually leaves the physical vessel. I'm saying so it's like the frequency cord has been cut almost, and so therefore you're not getting that stream of life into you, so to speak, anymore. Because I feel like that's kind of what we're talking about. It's like the stream of consciousness of life itself, of life, one infinite
I
creator.
exactly, and like people on the that have watched the show know, like I've had a ridiculous amount of NDEs, and the last one was just before the end of last year, and it was one that I clearly remember, and I believe like I was in when you were saying earlier that you believe you had direct contact with God. I believe I was returning to the energetic source of which I was born, right? Like
Mhm.
I physical form and was somewhere beyond this presence.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, when I was with God, God showed me himself as a tree. Okay. And that's kind of how I see it. I kind of see even like the all, right, is the white. Okay. And then there's a cord. What they showed me when I asked God to show me, like, what does he look like? You know what I'm saying? It looked like two cells, like what you're saying. And there was a connection between them. Okay. Now, what else you can compare that to is like a tree, right? And then there's the roots going to the ground, right? It also could be like the baby and the umbilical cord and the womb, the placenta. You know what I'm saying? It looks like a tree too. So what God said to me, or God showed me, and I was with him, is he showed me this giant tree, and he took me to the top of this tree, and we were looking at it, and there was all this pink energy flowing through it, every single bit of it and every leaf. At the time I was very heartbroken and sad and depressed, and that was part of what drove me to do this 40-day mantra program that brought me the relief and the peace that I needed, because it did. It brought me so much. I woke up a different person. I went to sleep that night and I woke up a different person. And all throughout the 40 days, they were giving, like, the lessons were coming, and I was healing, so to speak, you know? And so that my reward on that 40th night was God took me up into him, so to speak. And he showed me, he said, "You see that leaf right there?" He pointed to it and he said, "That's you." And he said, "Now see this leaf over here?" He said, "That's that person." He said, "You see the energy that flows between the two of you?" He said, "That's because you're always connected." He said, "You're never apart. So you feeling like you don't have him and you're separated from him now, that is not actually real." Okay. And they said, this brought me great peace at the time. You know what I'm saying? And they said, "You see this coin?" They showed a coin to me. They said, "See this side?" And I said, "Yes." And they flipped it over. They said, "See that side?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "Just because you can't see the other side when you're looking at this side doesn't mean that it stopped existing." And they said, "The love you had, the love you shared was real. And that's the gift. And that's what you're supposed to hold on to." They said, "It's okay to feel that love still." And so, because I feel like that's part of what had really happened for me. It's like, oh my God, this person didn't love me. Maybe I feel like it's what the thing was. That's what the heartbreak was saying. Like they never even loved me. All that love wasn't even real. I was just crazy. I was just a fool. You know, I was so heartbroken over. I'm like, at the time, you know, like worst heartbreak. And it brought me so much peace, because after that, I felt like, okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to continue loving this person. You know what? I'm not going to feel bad about that. I'm going to accept that that love that I shared with that person was real, even though I'm not going to be in their physical life anymore, because they were very unhealthy. They were very toxic. They were addicted to coke. You know what I'm saying? And so I wasn't about to, yeah, go down that road. Couldn't. I just literally couldn't. I was living in another state at that point and only going to be able to see this person every now and then. But so yeah, that was what God showed me of how we're all connected. We are all a leaf on God's tree, and the energy runs through all of us all the time. We're all always connected. We're one. We're one being. And when you hurt one, you hurt all. That's why you have to be so careful to know your intentions. You have to know your intentions. Like I got a lot of Buddhist teachings at that point in my life too, and it was like right think, right thoughts, right speech, right action. I feel like, was there another one? I can't remember it. But anyways, those were the tenets I was trying to live by. You know, like first you have to think, you have to ask God. And that is what A Course in Miracles taught me. The Course in Miracles taught me to open up my mind to the fact that I needed something higher and bigger than myself to show me the truth. That I am incapable as just a human vessel. I'm incapable of truly seeing the bigger picture of what is behind the scenes. And so I asked God. That was when I made my vow to God and just said, "I don't want any of my own thoughts or feelings anymore." I said, "You can take all of them. Take everything that I thought I knew, all the feelings I thought I've had." I said, "Let me, I will gladly sacrifice those for your thoughts and feelings." I said, "God, that is all I want. I just want to know your true thoughts and feelings. And if you give me that, I will do my best to honor it and live according to that." And it worked. It worked. And
Good.
I forget where we're going with this a little bit now. Starting to sweat.
No, no worries. And that actually brings back to another point. We were talking earlier about lost abilities and things that we as beings have forgotten to do over lifetimes and generations. And it kind of ties into what you were just talking about with us all being energetically connected and you being like the root system of the tree. Is do you think what we had taken away from us or blocked or however it's happened that we forgot it is like a natural internet that is controlled by our or interacted with, not controlled by our clairs. Like we can all like what me and Kyla have been doing, like having wordless conversations. We can all do that. We can all like we were joking around trying to connect with Matt Morney and it didn't work
Mm,
this time, but it could have worked, but who knows? But like it's literally there's an internet, some people would call it the collective conscious, but there's an internet we can all connect to that's natural.
yeah,
Do you believe that?
I do. I do believe that 100%. It's, in fact, we kind of already touching on that a little bit. We were talking about it when it came to ooh, when we put out requests for information to God and they'll give it to us because we are God. And so therefore, if we really want to know something, God will be able to sense our sincerity and our intentions. You know what I'm saying?
I
So yeah. So it's really just about like I said, and then they'll just bring you the information. If you sincerely want to know something, like you can reach out and connect to that God internet, so to speak. Like you
yeah,
can. It's like the Akashic records. It's like that's what I'm hearing. I'm just hearing like you connected, they'll connect you to the right team in the records to help you find that information.
that's awesome. And it leads me to the question I wanted to ask as well, because you've mentioned meditation and just being in, like at peace. I like to come at things from a 101 perspective because I literally just popped into any awareness of this about a year and a half ago. If somebody was having their day one experiences and wanted to get into good meditation and breath work and starting to be able to get into these practices, what would you suggest?
Quite honestly, the thing that worked for me that I would suggest is that Course in Miracles workbook because that taught me to meditate. It taught me how. It like starts you off real slow too. I think people get really overwhelmed with meditation because their mind wants to run and they have all this chatter, and it's like that's okay. People need to realize like that's okay. Like it's very hard to get the mind completely still and silent. A lot of times you actually just need to let the thoughts run through so that way once they've all run through, then there'll be a silence. But the Course in Miracles starts off with like 30-second exercises where you only and you can give yourself like mantras. Like a mantra meditation is where that's how you keep your brain busy so that way your spirit can do the work. You repeat the phrase again and again and again. And that phrase, especially if it's a Sanskrit phrase, right? A Sanskrit prayer. So you're saying that prayer again and again, and you're getting your body into frequency, energetic alignment with God and whatever it is you're asking for. Right? Am I making sense?
It does, and there's actually several comments about the book that you're talking about. Uh, Transcending Ascension was talking about what a great book it is as well. And I'm sorry if I giggled, but there's an ongoing thing in my chat. It's to see if you can get me to break during an interview. And Woo Riders DG did it. There's an ongoing joke about there being lonely fans for Don Rogers because I don't have only fans. I just have lonely fans. And he just asked Heidi Pop if she signed up for it. And I just about started laughing right in the middle of what
Oh
you were
my
saying. And
God.
I apologize.
I
That
wish
is
I could
me
see the
encouraging
chat.
the chat to fuck with me. And I am so sorry.
It's okay. Don't even worry about it. I can't see the chat is my sad thing though. I can't see
Oh,
the chat because I don't have
yeah.
what is it? I
Hey,
don't have StreamYard on my computer, so I have to do it on my
yeah,
phone. And when I'm on there, I can't see it. And there we
yeah,
go. Yeah. My
yeah.
God.
Yeah. It's just this ongoing thing, and I apologize. You're the first one that I've actually laughed out loud, and I'm sorry. So,
Oh, don't even I didn't even know. It's all right. Don't worry. We're having a good time. Feel free to laugh anytime you want.
yeah. Okay. Oh, damn you, Derek. Oh. just totally blew my head. Oh shit. That was good, Derek. You got me. Ah. So, if people want to find your memes and your channel and stuff, because that's something I've been trying to catch up a lot on, is your channel, because you and I have some
Oh,
very similar thought processes, and I
I,
love some of the things that
I
you talk
agree.
about on your channel. Um, where can they get your channel? Can they find you on the socials? And yeah, that drum video, I was shocked. It's actually edging on 50,000 views. Like
What?
I've never had a video go like that, and I wasn't even in it. I was just holding the camera. So he is just like, yeah,
Wow. I
and
told you it was a
like
great video.
I think we've had like four shitty comments out of like almost 60 now, and like 50,000 views, and he is just on cloud nine. I'm actually
Oh, that's
sitting
so
behind his drum kit
sweet.
while I'm doing this interview.
Oh, that is so sweet. See, that's because positivity shines through, truth shines through. And that was a really, really beautiful moment that you shared with us. You could see how touched and moved your son was. It was very beautiful. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, you guys got a good heart. But I don't know if I told you this, but I like see you when I connect into you, right? I'm almost positive. You look like a Link character to me, like Zelda and Link. You look like Link. You got your little Canadian Spinja blue fairy over there saying, hey, listen, you know what I'm saying? And I just see you guys just having like the best times together. I don't know. When I connect to the two of your energies, it just seems like I just see you're bright and smiley and cheerful, and it just feels so wonderful. So I'm really happy for you guys.
E-
You're wonderful
exactly
people.
what you were talking about earlier. We are just coming to that realization that, wait a minute, we are literally bringing things into reality. We just have to do it for the right purposes and with the right intention. And it's literally coming true by the day. And that's why wanted you to share your experiences, because that's what resonated. Is it's just crazy. It's like Spinja especially has this. She has her manifestation. She's an industrial manifestation station. She's an industrial sewer by trade. And I literally just explained to her like 2 days ago that her workstation is her altar, because she has it set up with all of the things
Yeah.
that she enjoys. And that's quite often where she'll be like, oh, it would be cool if Don talked to that person. And then it will happen that I end up connecting with that person. Or it would be cool if, that's almost like her abracadabra is, wouldn't it be cool if, and then like
There you go.
it just kind of shifts into reality. And you can literally change your own reality and recreate it with like gratitude, positivity, and intention, like you were saying. Like it's really as simple as the energetic projection you put out into reality, I think.
Well, I can feel that energy that you're talking about in her. It makes sense to me now because I sense fairy in her. I just sense fairy. I feel like this is elemental being magic type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? She could like I have a natural altar too over here that I make. And yeah, I don't know. Like, are you guys coming to the conference this year? You guys coming to the Journey to Truth conference or
I don't
the
know.
Full Disclosure Now conference? I wish you
Uh,
guys would come. Oh my god, it would be so much fun. I don't know. I just want to hug her. I just want to hug her for some reason, really bad, and I squeeze her like that. You
we
know?
are going to attempt to make it down across the border at some point. There, I was not always an upstanding citizen that I am currently, so there might be some issues with me crossing the border. I don't bullshit anybody. I was not always as nice as I am now, and I do have a criminal record.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so that could be an issue. So we're looking into it, but we're going to attempt to make it down there at least once this year,
I
because there's
hope so.
also the Forbidden Knowledge Network conference get together that I'm supposed to go to and meet all of my cohorts from Forbidden Knowledge. So we do eventually have to cross the border. It's just I have to figure out how.
Yeah, you have to figure out. Are you saying like for sure they're not going to let you? Like, there's no way.
It's not even for sure yet. I just have to see what the regulations and stipulations are. Like I was able to go to Cuba, but I don't know if I can cross between Canada and the US because it's a different set of guidelines.
Yeah, because the U.S. is a little touchy right now about its borders too. So
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, everybody's going crazy with that stuff, and it,
Oh, I know. It's
even
hilarious to
here
me, but
even here
Oh,
in
I forgot you're
Canada,
in Canada. Oh, that's
I
right.
just I shake my head because like the the guy who loved his socks quit. Well, first he like locked himself in parliament, then he quit after he changed a bunch of stuff and just put a dude into power. Like we didn't even get a say in it, and it's just crazy. Like I don't do politics because I know it's a dog and pony show, but like what just
Yeah.
happened over the last 5 years in Canada during COVID, and we had a truckers convoy. It was basically the script to V for Vendetta. Like he changed the settings on the internet. He locked down. He threatened to take people's children. He froze bank accounts. He turned the military loose on his own people. Like it was insane here.
Wow. I
And
mean,
then like
I've heard some of that stuff before, but so like shit.
yeah. Oh
I didn't
yeah,
know about Canada.
it was nuts here. Like I had friends at the trucker convoy, and they were like, "Yeah, we're coming to take your kids." Like there was droves of police going through and offering to take people's children to safety. And once you get into that system, as soon as the police are involved with your children, child protective services as
Yeah,
well, and you can imagine what
horrible.
happens next. Oh,
Exactly.
it
Exactly.
was
Parents,
insane here. Like it was almost communist Canada. Like it was nuts.
God. Well, we need to manifest some better. We need to
Yeah,
manifest some better for everyone, especially all the Canadian people up there, especially for you and being able to cross the border. We need to just say some prayers, everyone who's listening to this in the chat right now. You know what I'm saying? Just say a little, set out the intention with your heart and add some energy to it. Like, let Don be able to cross the border and go see his friends. Just let America let him come see him. I'm just putting that out there for you.
I do
Right.
because there's a lot of people on the other side of that imaginary line that I need to hug,
Yeah, I
right?
feel you.
Right? Like
Being around
I've
each other
already
physically
connected
does
with some of
matter.
you in the astral. Like this is
Yeah, exactly. So that's
yeah.
why I know I'm like you're definitely on the right. Like not everyone connects with me telepathically the way you did with the meme thing and everything like that. Like that tells me right there you have a gift. That tells me right there. Like you're talking about being telepathic with your woman. It's like not everyone catches that. You know what I'm saying? Like there'll be
Yeah.
times I tell people things in their heads and they'll totally respond and they won't realize. You know what I'm saying? That's like yeah, I heard you say that. Like I heard like oh gosh, you know what? It gets okay. The more advanced you get along with the telepathy though, it's like it can get a little frustrating because like especially with my kids, because we're in alignment, you know what I'm saying? So it's really easy for me to hear my kids and my sons will come up middle sons and they'll just be like they'll have this whole thing the story that they want to tell me and they started off and I already got it.
Yeah.
And now I have to sit there and listen to them slowly, agonizingly tell me the rest of the story I already heard completely in my head. It's like, God,
I actually, and this is something to steal Steven's phrase, I have half a butt cheek in. I think we are taught language to slow down our communication.
yeah, yeah, I feel
It,
you. Okay.
I know it's crazy, but you and I know what
No,
we're
we're meant
talking
to
about.
be
With some,
telepathic. They do
yeah,
everything they can to teach us and to shut down and how not to be that way. But we were, yeah, I think I heard somewhere it's like the first humans like didn't even vocalize words at all. Like you were all just it was about visual cues and telepathy. You know what I'm saying? Like
and
we were meant to be telepathic beings. You know, I think that's
and
what they do a lot with the heavy metals and all that type of stuff is they try to shut it down. And once you start detoxing and you start doing all this stuff, especially if you have any reptilian like hair like connections. You know what I'm saying? Because I know people get it could be a hot button topic for people, reptilian stuff. You know what I'm saying? But they're not all bad. And I'm just saying, I sense a little bit from you.
oh, you're absolutely right. And here comes the fun part. I was born with a tail.
Wow. That you know what I didn't oh, you made me immediately think about my soul braid walking too because I almost didn't mention that part like that they had a tail you know what I'm saying so that makes a lot of sense that's crazy yeah yep you wanted to remember
I
that
was born with a tail and spent 3 weeks in an incubator and had jaundice. But yeah,
wow
yeah. Uh, Yeah, I totally believe that there has been something shut off within us and it is reactivating. And that'll bring me to the last thing that I want to talk about before I let you go is it's something I talked to Matt about as well, is the amount of us that are having this spiritual remembering, this understanding, this, we're seeing more in reality. There's a lot of us that this is happening to at this particular time that are very broken. And I've noticed a trend amongst those of us that have had a great amount of hardship. And I know, and I've said it before, Marvel bad, Marvel Disney, I know. But in the movie Deadpool, they allude to the fact that the right amount of torture causes mutation. I think that was kind of an underlying message that the right amount of adversity is going to cause some type of spiritual awareness or
I
activation.
posted a meme that basically said that. That basically said, I'll send it to you after this. It said something about people needing to recognize that CPTSD is part of what wakens people's psychic skills up, the survival mode. Like for me, that's pretty much kind of like how it happened for me too. Growing up, I had to be hyper vigilant, because my mom, okay, I love my mom, but she had suffered her own traumas, and so she was carrying those on, and she was doing the same things, and so I couldn't really rely on her to be very emotionally stable, when it came to one day something made her upset, but the next day that same thing doesn't make her upset. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like you get that hypervigilance. Like I got to learn to recognize that those subtle energies. That's what it trained me to do. Hypervigilance teaches you how to recognize the subtle energy shifts and differences. That's why even when it's so difficult when people are talking, you know how it is. You can sense it when someone's talking to you and they're lying, and you can fucking sense it,
Yeah.
and you're just like, okay,
Mm,
like,
yeah. Mm.
mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like that type of thing. I feel like I trying to jump back to what started this off, though. We are talking about the torture stuff, okay, and the
Yeah.
leading to the psychic thing. But there's something else you said that caught my eye. I'm trying to get back to. What did you say right before that?
I was talking about how basically the trauma or the hardship causes spiritual awareness.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. I'm just there was something else. I might have forget. If it comes back, it comes back. Go. It's fine. It's fine.
No, I
But
I
yeah,
just I find it very weird. Like Matt Mornian and I, very parallel existences. You and Spinja, very parallel existences. Like there's a lot of people. Me and Steven Stathis from BG Cast. Like if I shave my face into a goatee, I look like his older brother, like physically and on our storylines. Like we are biological archetypes. He's bigger and younger than me, but we could pass for some type of physical relation, and we are not related at all, but have
mhm.
had almost the same story, right? I it's bizarre. Go ahead.
I remembered. Okay, so what I was thinking about anyway, was you were saying about newly people that are coming into the community and they're broken right now, right? And so they're getting these spiritual gifts turned on, and they're kind of, it's like they're kind of in the boat just being tossed on the water, along the waters. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the main thing is that people don't need to realize that they don't realize, okay, when these things start to come on, you start to get higher chakra activations and crown openings and stuff. If you haven't done the lower work, you haven't done the lower chakra work yet, it's going to leave you not grounded. And this can lead to issues. You know what I'm saying? This can lead to, I don't know, I've seen it. It's just like a miss, like it's almost like it's, even though they're getting spiritual truths, there's like this little distortion that happens in those spiritual truths, and so they mistake it for, and then they make decisions based on it, and then later on something bad happens, and they're like, "Oh my God, like I thought I was being led by spiritual programs." Like, okay, you were, but it's like just fine tune. You need to clean up the lower chakras so that way you can have that energy come in more solidly, so that way you're not all over the place. And discernment is really it. It's like you really have to go slow when these gifts start opening up, and you have to be willing to take a chance to be wrong, right? You have to be willing to take a chance to be wrong so that you can learn the difference between when it feels like when you get it right and when you get it wrong.
I I
Yeah,
totally get it. That
yeah,
that resonates. No,
yeah. And that's
I
hard. It's just hard. It's hard for people to do that because it's scary. It's scary to like test with a partner, and like especially if you have any traumas left over from having gotten things wrong, which I definitely did. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure a lot of us did. And so taking the chance of even accepting what you really think. Let's say like you're telepathically, you're doing a practice exercise where like you're trying to kind of like, I did things like not only that telepathically communicating, but also like physically touching and stuff like that. I tested that type of stuff out too. And it's like, you have to be willing, like, and this vice versa back. Okay. You have to be willing to not push aside something that sounds crazy, and like the things that come in sometimes aren't going to make any sense. But if you take the chance and you say them, it's crazy. A lot of the times when you do that, a person will respond and be like, oh my God, like you got that so right. When it's like, oh, I was so scared to say that thing. I was so scared to say the things, and no, you got it. And then people will respond, wow, you got it right, So don't be afraid.
Yeah. We had a comment there in the chat from Transcending Ascension. It's why humanity is key. Stay vulnerable and you will upgrade faster.
Yeah. Stay in your heart space. Yeah. Keeping your heart open and following your heart. Because your heart, for me, okay, like I know the difference between when something feels good and is right and when something doesn't. I can feel it. Like, for instance, with that guy that I manifested, where I manifested even his sun and his rising sign, you know what I'm saying? And he bought me this house and all that. It's like, but I didn't feel good about that. It did not feel like there was like there should have been an equal energy exchange, and there was no energy exchange between me and him. It's basically like, and then was getting resentful. You know what I'm saying? He was so full of anger and hatred, and he was trying to tell me that he cares for me, he loves me, all this stuff. It's like, well, then why can't I feel any of that? I literally thought his heart was dead. No, after I got out of the situation, I realized no, he was feeling all those potent negative feelings. You know what I'm saying? He was forcing me to then feel, because that's the thing about being an empath, being a psychic. You'll start to feel, it's like, I'm getting off subject here, so I apologize for this, but it's like we walk around and our auras are like pools, like a pool of water. Okay. And so when you get close to someone else's pool of water, what happens is those waters, they overlap. And now I'm starting to, like, let's say I have a really clean aura, right? But this other person has a bunch of shit in their aura. And now our pool waters are mixing. And my clean water is having to clean up your shitty water, so to speak. And what happens with people when they stay in that toxic? Well, then now, how am I going to recoup that? How am I going to keep my energy clean and clear when I'm literally taking that on? So, but now I remember the point. Yeah, it didn't feel right. Now I know the difference. I can feel the difference. Like when you accept something from someone, like I'm just having a really new experience as a human being, considering I'm a soul braid walk-in. And yeah, Cassandra's body has been here for 40 something years, but I've only been here since my daughter was born, and she's 8. So it just tells you, like, I'm still learning here, guys. I'm still learning. The
That's
human
really
way.
interesting. And I know I said I'd let you go, but you've hit on
Oh,
this,
it's
and I
okay.
have to
Okay,
say it.
go ahead. Read on.
I am the version of self that Kyla met on the first day that we met. And then there was 4 years of dealing with my residual alcohol and painkiller addictions. And then I eventually, when I popped online, returned back to this version of myself. But the first day that her and I met, this is the version of me that had the interaction with her. And then I was kind of silenced for, like I said, until the addictions died and the pharmaceuticals were out of Dawn's system. And then I became a part of this reality.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if that's exactly what you're talking about, but I existed and then I was muted and then I came back when everything was filtered out.
I feel like I can sense that. I can relate to that on a level where it's like how I was talking about, I found Buddhism, I found enlightenment in my 20s, and then I went through that darkness for 10 years. And I'm saying, like, who I was as far as being connected to God was the same back then, like the vessel was turned back on, but then I had the darkness and then we had to restart it. I had to go through all that the same way you did. Yeah, it teaches us something. I just really do believe we pre-plan these things. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think there's definitely some type of control. I definitely agree. Before we go, I know I keep saying that.
Oh,
Um,
you're all right. You're all right.
you touched on something there that I love to share, and it's something since I became somewhat aware of what's going on in this reality is using your body as a lie detector. I do it all the time. Like we've seen the wonderful Psychic Duck, Let Me Feel Into It, Matt Morney, and a lot of these people that are intuitives feel into these things, and that's not just a catchphrase. And I know you're an intuitive as well. You literally feel it within yourself when you ask yourself the questions that you need answers to. Like, if you get a gross, sick feeling about something, it's probably not meant for you. Do you
100%.
do you practice that as well, like using yourself, your biological self, to help guide your higher self?
Oh, well, absolutely. I would say my higher self kind of uses my vessel, allows me to
Yes.
use this vessel properly to where I can absolutely sense stuff like that. Exactly what you're talking about. Where it's like, oh, that I don't like the energy of that. It's like when I was talking about how I pop over into people's minds and take a look. You know what I'm saying? Like I can pop over into people's vessels, so to speak, and I can like that's how you do energy work, right? I just a bit like imagine myself going into their body, and then I can feel all the different places that maybe they're hurting, or like I used to do it with my midwifery. Is how I learned how to do it. Is you're on the clock watching like a pot watch get ready to boil, and so we didn't want to spend hours in front of a woman who was laboring because that slows the labor down. And so what I would do when we would get a call that she might be in labor, I would just go and I would check. I would just go and I would imagine myself in her body. I would imagine what am I doing? I would write it down. What am I wearing? Okay, like what's the centimeter dilation of the cervix? Okay, like how is the baby doing? What's position? I would write all these things down and then I would get there and I would ask her, okay, what were you doing at this time? And she would, obviously I'd be able to see right away if she was wearing the clothes or not, and it would all line up. I would always get it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I do know that I forget what, again, I feel like I keep getting like, how do we start this? How did I start that?
How did I get here?
How did I get there? But yeah, so that's the thing that human beings can do. And we just have to be aware enough to, again, I think it comes back to the subtle energies, you know what I'm saying? And being willing to believe that all it takes really is your intentions and your thought. Consciousness is so powerful. It's so powerful. We really do not understand it yet. And I'm here for it. I'm here for
I
it.
love it. And just one last comment. It's my friend Cheech from Ontario. Tell her she has a real blue aura. So
Oh,
he is
thank
reading your aura, and
you.
very real blue aura. So
I appreciate
uh,
that. I really do.
so
Yeah.
as you were kind of explaining there, how can people reach out to you for like intuitive services, readings, where to catch your streams, where all your
Sure.
wonderful Facebook stuff is?
Well, you can find me on YouTube at Aurora Diamondheart. Okay, definitely go over there and give me a follow, guys. 'Cause I'm trying to build. All I want is just 1,000 subscribers so I can do lives from my phone. That's really all I really want, guys. So if you guys could help me out with that, go to Aurora Diamondheart on YouTube, and also you can follow me on Facebook for my sweet memes that we got to see some of earlier. I'm at again, it's just Aurora Diamondheart. Okay, but I have a backup profile too, so just make sure that you send a friend request if you come like to the one where it's like I'm like smiling, I'm like pointing to I voted sticker. See, I'm not. I have the other one is like me with like a mic, So just look for the one where I'm like smiling like that. Okay, so that's it. And you can email me at auroradiamondheart@gmail.com if you want to just reach out to me directly about readings or anything like that. I definitely do readings. So feel free, give me a contact, a little message.
Awesome. I want to thank you so much. This has been an awesome 90 minutes. I can't
Thank
believe that
you.
went that fast.
I
And
know. I feel like we just got here.
thank you everybody that participated in the chat. And damn you, Derek, you actually got me to break pretty bad where I forgot what the
Nice
hell I
job,
was talking
Derek.
about. Well done, buddy.
Nice
You
job.
win. You win this
I wish
week.
I could seen it. Wish I could have seen it at the time too. I would have laughed as well.
Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't share it better, but yeah, he got me, and it's something I invite everybody to do because it actually eases me up a bit. It's like having a conversation with a friend, and then there's another friend in the chat, and I can just kind of laugh with them, and he got me pretty good.
Exactly. You're
And
natural. You're natural. Hmm.
and for anybody that wants to join in on the Farting Around After Dark next Saturday at 6 p.m. Mountain, shoot me a message on Facebook. It's just going to be a fun conversation. We're probably going to go a couple hours just telling jokes and shooting the shit. It's not even really a podcast. It's just a hangout. So if you guys want to show up, you can. And like I always say, if you can go outside, please do, because it's a lot better than sitting in front of this screen. Thank you, and I love you.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Are you
It's
there?
going to do it to me again. Yeah, it's going to do it to me again.
The nature of this experience seems to always be just beyond the reach of our science, technology, and consciousness collective.
There's layers upon layers upon layers.
It does add such an element of mystery to this place.
Why are we here?
We're getting closer to the truth now.
There's too many people experiencing profound interactions with conscious entities.
I'm focused on the non-human intelligence contact phenomenon in dreams. Dreams involve interactions with real entities.
People are waking up paralyzed. They're sensing or seeing something very evil in the room.
I have experienced sleep paralysis. Shadow people start to appear.
I was taken from my earliest memories by non-human alien entities. More and more people are wanting to talk about these things.
A ufologist would say, well, that's obviously an extraterrestrial. And a paranormal researcher would say, well, that's a ghost. Well, what if it's all of those things and none of those things? The entities, the intelligence that were just beyond our understanding.
There seems to be something a little extra that can take forms of anything.
I can't believe what I've seen, but it continues on a daily basis. We're definitely not alone. UFOs, UAPs, portals opening up.
I live with all this supernatural stuff. You kind of grow up with that around here. You see a lot of strange things. I don't like to talk about skinwalkers too much.
I had an experience with a skinwalker entity.
People, they would say they would transform into bears, into wolves. There's these bad things that occur. Ghosts, UFOs, and all types of things coming from somewhere.
Our beliefs, our emotions, and our fears all seem to heavily influence the nature of these experiences.
There is so much more that we just don't have time for in this busy, loud, noisy life that we lead.
All of this is planned. Everything is synchronicity.
There's so much more out there. We really are picking up such a small percentage of the electromagnetic spectrum.
The world is an amazing place.
It feels like we're gods in training.